first episode of our New Zealand series, we visited Hampton Downs to check out Chrome Expression sessions. The racetrack is also home to one of New Zealand's biggest motorsport celebrities and our good friend, Mad Mike, who was kind enough to give us a tour of his headquarters. Dude, thanks so much for having me here. This is so cool in here with all of your history and memorabilia.
Yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff, and to be able to build our own shop that we build the cars and test the cars all at Hampton Downs is the dream. But yeah, lots of memorabilia. I mean, stuff like this, I mean, it's just a car, but this is like stamped Maserati. This was from our first award at Goodwood Festival of Speed. We were named the most exciting, most explosive driver of the whole event, and that was when we really introduced drifting. That was 5 years ago. You know, Formula Drift trophies from this year, the carbon fibre, but memorabilia wall, I mean, this is the inspiration when you walk in the front door each morning and you see what we've accomplished and the different challenges, and then also my son Lincoln racing his trophy car. Yeah, but history, let's we'll head into the race shop, and there's a bit of history in there.
All right, cool.
So this is the toy shop where it all happens. So
Awesome. And this is the MX-5?
this is the MX-5 Rad Bull. So yeah, with a little bit of history. I mean, this was third in the World Drift Champs 2016 with Formula Drift, USA and Japan, and yeah, crazy little car. Runs, you know, 1,200 horsepower, 4-rotor, twin turbo. Thing is crazy. It still scares me to this day.
And this is the newest car. Would you say this is your dream car? Or?
Dream car, like, I mean, every one of these cars that we build is a dream car. Like, at the time, it's whether it's an activation or a hill climb or a competition, we piece them together, and we're very fortunate to work with some of the world's biggest brands from all the different partners and different products. So I'm able to build these cars that at the time is my biggest dream. So, you know, the history go back to Thirsty, before it was Mad Bull, was a naturally aspirated 3-rotor peripheral port camouflage Batman RX-7. That was the wildest dream I could think of back then, and we built that, you know, to go drifting. And then, you know, the 4-rotor, and then we needed another car, because then with so much like international stuff starting to happen from New Zealand, we'd lose the car for like 4 weeks, as it would sit in a container and have to get to the States or Japan. So with Red Bull, we built the RX-8, and we wanted to, ideally, if we wanted to go and win every competition, we would have built an identical car. So no matter where I go, I'm in the exact same platform, and I don't have to figure things out with a short time frame in drifting. But for me, drifting has never been about winning the 3 judges. It's been more about the showmanship and the explosive show for the people that come through the gates. I want to make sure they get their $20 worth. So I've had a different way of being successful in drifting to now, obviously with this car, we did get third in the World Drifting Championship. We're leading the Japanese Championship in our humble RX-7. But it's the dream is you've just got to have that vision, and as a kid, have the determination and a bit of passion to make them all come together.
That's so awesome, bro. And I notice over here there's another MX-5. It looks like the sister car.
Yeah, so we go from wild to mild. Well, I guess it's still pretty wild for a street car, I guess, but...
It's got the Rocket Bunny kit.
Yeah, so, you know, again, one of the coolest things about the pro program that we run for drifting is the partnerships, you know, and then they see my vision and be able to transfer not just on our race program, but be able to do cool stuff like this for the street. So we built this for Tony. This is her, like, weekend summer car where she can roll, and from Mazda, and then working with Rocket Bunny for the Aero, Rotiform and Compton up in LA. We're able to like even piece my whole vision together, and Tony's vision, of course. Like, she's had many cars that have won lots of shows here in New Zealand, so it's a great partnership in all ways that I'm able to do cool stuff like this.
Man, everywhere I look in here, there's just cool stuff all over the place. These RC cars is a hobby of yours.
Yep.
Are these something that you've done?
No, like RC cars is something I've done for a long time, but these are actually gifted to me from my #1 fan, Yoshimi-san, up in Japan. So yeah, he literally creates these, cuts them all up. You can see all the tiny little screws, and then every time we're on the podium, You can see congratulations, Formula Drift Japan, Okabuki, Ichiban, first place.
The detail on that's amazing.
I mean, all the PWR radiators and just unreal the time and that's gone into them. So it's cool. I mean, the power now of social media and having such an epic fan base, and maybe being able to just put content out like that and people can see it, doesn't matter where they are in the world. And then
one of the really cool things you've got here is all of the fenders and the bonnets that you've got on the wall, I suppose. Each one of them's got a special memory for you.
Yeah, they all tell a story, from winning championships to hill climb activations to, you know, cars being in games like Need for Speed. When you got, you know, I think the first Need for Speed game we were in was Shift, and my son was about 3 or 4 at the time, and he could play with Dad's car on the PlayStation. It was pretty cool. But so of all the guards and hoods that are mounted, I would say this one is by far the favourite. It's got the most story. It was the first guard on my first actual drift car that we went and competed in it, and really set the name. Like Mad Mike, coming from freestyle motocross, set it in concrete in the drifting community. So went to California, D1GP World All-Stars, and we were just the mad Kiwi and the screaming 3-rotor RX-7 that had like literally no suspension, side piped. It was wild, and we're the only foreigner that made it into top 16. And so Mad Mike, this mad Kiwi, and then from there on, now it's my career. That car, or that guard, was what really started it, as me being able to turn it from a hobby, and this is what we do. It's how I put food on the table for the family. It's crazy. So that's why that thing's mounted right in the bang smack in the centre.
So as you said, you're well known for your rotaries. There's one over in the corner here, though, that sort of sticks out a bit more than the others because it looks really stock.
Yep. Let's go check that out. That's the grandfather of the fleet. Yeah, so this is the RX-2. 73 sedan, silver, black interior, really hard to find.
And left-hand drive, so did you import this yourself? Or?
Yeah, funny story actually. Competing in Formula Drift over in Orlando, and met a fan at lunch break when we do the autograph signing, and he asked if I could come and sign his RX-2 that he had out in the car park. And so caught up with him later on that day, saw the RX-2 and was like, damn, this thing is insane, it's so mint. And it wasn't until a year later, we went back to the same event in Orlando for Formula Drift. And over that year, I'd built my own daily. It was a Mazda Ripu, which in 74 to 77 was a factory 13B pickup truck.
Yep.
Slammed it and, you know, went crazy to motor and everything, and then signed a deal with Hot Wheels. So Hot Wheels made a die-cast replica of it. And at that event in Orlando, so Chris, who owned this, he was saying how epic the truck was. And in New Zealand, it's pretty normal to swap, as I said when I was younger, always swapping cars and bodies and keeping wheels or seats or whatever it was. And I said, oh, dude, you want to swap for my truck for your RX-2? And he was like, you'd do that? And we both thought it was a good deal. And so this ended up going in a container. Luckily, the MX-5, when it came back, it's a little car, so we were able to squeeze this in the container. And Chris was stoked as, because then he got a truck, and I didn't actually tell him until 6 months later when we sent a actual Hot Wheels die-cast replica of the car. So it's pretty cool story. And now we have a nice RX-2. So actually I need to get in this thing. They've got a rotary cruise here at Chrome this weekend, and that's in 10 minutes. So
all right, man, I'll leave you to it. Thanks so much for showing me around.
Epic, no worries, man. Thanks for coming in. Will do. We'll see you on the track.
Yep. In the next episode, we travel from the very cold Queenstown to the moderately cold Auckland to visit some of our Haltech dealers and check out some cool Kiwi builds.